Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Engineer Mojo. Today we're working on a GMC Acadia 2009 spark plug change. To get it started off, the tools you'll need are 1 12-inch extension, very useful, flathead screwdriver, socket wrench, 6-inch extension, also very useful, 5/16 socket, 10mm socket, 5/8-inch spark plug socket with a rubber grommet inside to help grasp the spark plug, and also a 1/2-inch socket. That's all you need. Let's get this show on the road, man. Step 1, you just want to remove the plastic cover. Pretty simple. You just want to lift at the attachment points. First, remove the oil cap though, because that will impede it. But simple, just lift up. It's really easy. It just snaps in and snaps off. As you see, I did replace the oil cap. So don't forget that when you take off the plastic cover, put this back on so you don't have any foreign materials falling into the cylinder head. Step 2, now that the plastic cover is removed, you want to assess what you need to take off to make this job as easy as possible. This will be a step-by-step of what you need to remove when you want to get off the intake manifold. So you have a vacuum hose here that you just can pull and remove. A hose here, vacuum hose as well, which you can separate by simply shimmying this off of this plastic holder right here. You have a electrical clip here that you'll remove. You'll have 2 plugs here that you want to remove. That one with the green tab and this one with this black tab right here. This one, all you have to do is just press in right here and that'll remove. Right here, just want to press this green button and pull off and that will remove. Your wire looms bolted in. As you see, this one has already been worked on, so they have not put back the bolt. But usually you'll have a bolt here holding on this wire loom. You want to remove that. And any other miscellaneous wire looms that are attached to the intake manifold, you want to take those off before, like this one right here. And that's easy, just pop that tab and that pulls off this vacuum hose. You just want to pull those off before you try to remove the intake manifold. I have top 5 bolts right here. These are 1/2 inch. You want to remove those, as well as there's one down here below this felt pad. I don't know if you can see down there, but it's underneath. I'll get a better shot. It's underneath this connector, and that's bolt number 6 that you want to remove. And that's in addition to removing this air intake as well. Just want to pop this hose. That comes off and removes. 5/16 bolt, loosen. You can twist this off and that'll remove. Squeeze. It's off. Alright, don't forget about this plug back here. To remove that, just take a flathead and just work your way in between that little nub. You see how it popped back? It was close, flush to here. I just popped it back. And then from there, you just want to push in that tab and then remove the plastic piece. Now that that's removed, put that in a safe spot. Don't lose it. And then now you should be able to pull out that plug pretty easily. All right, now that you see everything is kind of cleared out the way and everything is unbolted, next you want to do is remove the bolts that are actually holding in the intake manifold. And these are 1/2 inch size bolts. Typically, I always start in the middle bolts. I loosen those first and I work my way outside in a crisscross pattern, just so that it's less chance that you warp your block. In addition to the 5 bolts, 1/2 inch bolts that are up here on the top, there is a little hidden one to your right. If you want to just peel up this little felt pad, you'll see there is a bolt down there that you will need to remove. Just so you know, this one is a shorter bolt, the one that's down there. The other 5 are pretty long bolts. I'll just rest them all here, right to the left-hand side. Now with the 5 top bolts removed, the one side bolt that's on the right-hand side, it is now time to remove the intake manifold. So now that everything's removed, it's pretty simple. You can just wiggle this off. As you see, it's pretty easy to wiggle off. Try to move Wire hoses to the side. Alright, now here comes the easier part, which is actually replacing these spark plugs once you have access to them. As you see, here are your intake runners, and here are your coils, ignition coils. You just want to remove these bolts. Oddly enough, I use a 10mm to remove those, and I'll do one at a time just so I don't accidentally drop anything inside the manifold or the cylinders, and to keep everything in order and clean as possible. So you see, these three are pretty easy. These three back there are a little bit harder to get to, but not that bad at all. The next step is to prep the new spark plugs. I will apply anti-seize compound on the threads. It's just to reduce the chance of corrosion on the threads and these getting seized in the cylinder head. Alright, just to show you a quick update, I've removed the ignition coil. As you see, this 10mm bolt, it does stay on the ignition coil. You don't have to remove it all the way. Move that, twist and lift up, that removes it. Spark plug socket, a 5/8 inch spark plug socket to remove spark plug down there. I have a extension on my socket, and I turn lefty loosey to loosen it. Okay, install of the new spark plug is the same as removal, except you go to the right to make it tighter. Difference is, I always start these by hand tightening. I never start off with the socket wrench. So I'll put the spark plug in the spark plug socket on the extension. I'll use my hand to put it down into the spark plug hole, and I'll start it by hand tightening just to make sure that I don't cross thread while I'm installing the new spark plug. And once I feel like I've gotten a few revolutions turning and I know that the threads have made correct contact, then I'll go back with the socket to tighten it. Now there is a torque spec for this, but usually I just put these snug tight, and I always keep my hand close to the socket head so I don't over tighten. But basically, once you can't tighten anymore, it's getting kind of a little resistance about right there, just a little resistance. Don't need to be really tight in there, just enough for that it's sealed. I'll move on to the next spark plug. Oh, also I should have mentioned that typically I do put some kind of covering over the intake runners just to make sure that no foreign materials fall within the cylinder head. For these back spark plugs, I do this a little differently. I use, instead of a 12-inch extension, I use a 6-inch extension, and I put that and the spark plug socket in the socket hole first, and then I apply the socket wrench just so I can get a little more clearance when I'm kind of shifting it down in the hole. Basically, the removal of the spark plug and the install is the exact same process as it was in the front. As you see, I have completed those, so I won't waste your time and show you these back pieces, but I did want to show you exactly how I made use of the limited space. Just a pro tip, if your spark plug socket wants to get stuck down there on the spark plug, just give it a few wiggles. Alright, I reinstalled all the spark plugs. Now I put the intake manifold back on top of the engine block. All the holes for your bolts should line up. And don't forget about this 6th one down here. And that should line up as well. Once everything is lined up, it should be pretty snug on there. One more tip, when you're tightening these down, just get them in there so they're in contact with threads, and if you thread them in a little bit, but allow some wiggle room so that as you're working your way out, that you can get these other one in. Sometimes there'll be a slight shift, a millimeter, and you won't be able to tighten these back in on the sides. Alright, now that the intake manifold is secured back down, I'll go ahead and reattach all the vacuum hoses and electrical connectors. Now I'll reinstall the air intake hose. Alright, I tighten back up the 5/16 bolt. Make sure that the clip is aligned in this plastic tab. Same thing on the opposite side. Tighten that bolt. Don't forget this oil excess hose. Just slide that back into that port. And voila, everything is back. Now that you've completed the install, before you put back on the plastic cover, just do a test run, turn on your car, see if there's any fluctuation in the idle or if there's any kind of roughness in the start. If there isn't, then you're good to go. Then go ahead and put back on the plastic cover. And the plastic cover just sits right on top of these knobs, as you see right here. There's a knob there and a knob there, and the plastic cover just snaps right into those knobs. As always, thanks for watching. If you have any tips for me or for anybody attempting this install, please comment down below to help us all out. If you liked it, please like, please share, and as always, thanks for watching. Hope this helps you out. Good luck. Peace.